Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington. And today we are talking about Space Jam, the new legacy. The new legacy, I thought that was a sort of weird name, sort of thing to
Yes.
throw in there, the new legacy. What does that mean anyway, right? The new
Yeah, I don't know.
legacy.
It's kind of weird. It's poor choice of words, I would
The
say.
new legacy. Why not just Space Jam 2?
Guess.
I mean,
Well, you know what?
When you Google search it, Space Jam 2, that's what comes up, right?
See, the problem is though, this didn't really have anything to do with space. It was about a computer algorithm. So the title is wrong in the first place. You should have changed the title to something else.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, we'll get into that in a second.
So, what do you think? What did you think about Space Jam, the new legacy?
Okay, so I watched the because I haven't seen the original Space Jam
Mhm.
in since 1990 something. Whenever it came out, that's the last
Right.
time I
That
saw
was
it.
when I saw it, exactly.
Yeah, so like it wasn't on my mind, but I watched the second one with LeBron, and then I watched the first one like immediately right after I watched the first one,
Hmm.
and oh my god, I like it. If it was its own thing in its own universe and didn't have anything else to compare it to, I think it was an okay movie. Like I thought that like that being like a father and that kind of thing was fine. It was
Hmm.
like a story, like he's always trying to be a better father or whatever. I thought that was cool, but it's the fact that there's this 800-pound gorilla overshadowing this movie with at every turn. Even in the movie, they're overshadowing him,
Right.
and
Like
so I was like,
why?
it's kind of weird. Like it was
Hmm.
really kind of weird. So like I like on its own, I think it's just an okay family movie.
Yeah.
I I would rate it like maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10. It
Hmm.
was fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy to see like black families and like he's not a degenerate father and whatever that
Right.
kind of stuff. Like he's just like he's busy. He's trying to
He's
teach his
not out
kids.
drinking, smoking crack.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly, like that kind of stuff. Like I feel I'm okay with that. Like
Right.
it's a good positive message. His son is trying to be a computer programmer. Like this is
Right.
cool. So like the story wise was kind of clunky, but
Mhm.
it, like the point was we need to get LeBron James playing basketball against Looney Tunes, and then we'll figure this thing out later. And you could tell that's what the plot was.
Yeah.
They were like, we'll
Uh,
get to middle part, we'll figure that out. But LeBron James is going to play basketball with with Bugs Bunny, like that. We got to figure that out. How we're going to do that? We'll
you
get to
know,
there later.
another movie you could have easily cut out 30, 45 minutes out of,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
just like, that's what I'm saying. Like I said last week, build up the main character, then
Mm,
let's get to whatever the whole movie is about. Now, what I thought about the movie was it
mm.
was a really great movie to take your family to. You have a
Yeah.
5-year old, a 6-year old, a 10-year old. The family goes out, movie night, it's fine, right?
Mm, yeah.
But, as and this was a LeBron James production, right? I think it was the Spring Hill Company. That's his, I guess, his production company's name. And,
Yeah.
you know, I just, as a person who review movies, again,
Yeah.
like I said, a really good movie for families, but just on the
Mhm.
technical side of it, I'm just like, no, I don't get this. I think that maybe I see why they said, hey, LeBron needs to be the star of the movie because maybe
Mm.
there wasn't another basketball player that could have played in Space Jam. Maybe Steph Curry. I don't know, right? He would have been more
Is large
personable.
enough?
Yeah, that's large
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Like, but I think that this is more like the NBA is pushing because the NBA wants LeBron to be the face of basketball,
Right.
but the fans don't want LeBron to be the face of basketball.
No,
Outside of LeBron fans, the rest of football basketball fans are like, "Nah, we're good. We'll pick somebody
we
else,
we
anybody
don't
else."
even we don't even need to get into an overview. We're just going to talk about the movie, okay? There's no need to
That's
even get
fair.
into an overview. So
That is
here's the
absolutely
other
fair.
thing I realized about the movie, right?
Mm.
There was only two females like who had sort of main parts in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the basketball player who became like a spider or whatever, right? We're not talking about her, right? Or a lizard or a snake or
It was
whatever,
like a
right?
snake thing. Yeah,
Right. We're
snake and
not
the
talking about
spider.
that.
Yeah.
They had like, 30 seconds, 1 minute like parts. I'm talking about like Sarah Silverman and
Mm-hmm.
also Sonequa Martin
Green.
Green, who
Yeah.
is, also the star
Yeah, you know from
of
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek Discovery, which is my second favorite show behind The
Mm-hmm.
Expanse.
Mm-hmm.
But they just had those two women, right? And
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, what is this all about, right? This is kind of weird, right? And then you had like the LeBron James, man, like stay behind the camera, because you cannot act a lick. I mean,
Oh, it
at
was
all.
wooden. And see, the problem is like, I think that Jordan has done enough commercials and stuff like that that he's more comfortable
Yeah,
acting, I guess.
hmm
Like it was less wood. Like it was wooden because he's not an actor; he's a basketball player. But it
yeah,
was less wooden,
yeah.
like if you could say that between the two of them. And I don't want to compare the two too much, but
But you
it,
have to because that's what he was doing. That's why he went into, he became the producer of Space Jam, like, the new
yeah,
legacy. He wanted
they're
to, that's what he's trying to do, and
yeah.
again,
He
like I
was
said, I'm not
just
just to put it out there, I'm not a
mhm.
LeBron James basketball fan. Not to take anything away from the guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah, of
is
course.
a pillar of the community. He is a Hall
Hmm.
of Famer. He is one of the greatest basketball players that have ever played the game. But to
Yeah,
call him a GOAT is ridiculous on its face. Just period. Just like let's just stop that, and everyone tries to like pontificate like, well, I'm talking about like a person who plays offensive defense. I'm like, forget
hmm.
that. It's just like, come on. You have so many other players who have achieved so much more than him. But anyway, that's another sort of discussion. He
Hmm.
cannot act a lick.
He's terrible at
He
this.
was
He's really bad.
robotic. He was sort of, I don't know, dude. I mean, he
Hey,
should
when
have
you
stayed
get
behind the camera as a producer and then got someone else.
yeah,
I know he's the biggest sort of player, the biggest star in the NBA. Do you
well,
think that Giannis, the Greek freak, would have done something really well with that, or what?
yeah, like somebody, I think somebody like Steph Curry or even Giannis, whatever. Because I think LeBron has he has the basketball thing, and he
Mhm.
has like a Sprite commercial level thing, but
Yeah,
being personable for a movie for an hour and a half,
to
he's
hold
not
it
good at that. Because
almost
the
two
thing is, though,
hours.
it takes a special skill
Yeah,
to make you draw you in to be like, you know what, you're like I was rooting for his kid to win.
yeah,
If you've seen the movie with
yeah.
the stakes and then everyone's gonna like, I was
Mhm.
actually rooting for his kid over him. I'm like,
Right.
no, because the other thing that I could tell is that between the two movies, the first movie was like they're playing up to the fact that Michael Jordan is arrogant, and he they the Toons dragged him in there to play a basketball game, and they basically kind of conned him into playing the game
Right.
because he's
Mhm.
doing the game out of spite. He was he wasn't playing the game out of some noble cause of, you know what, I need to help the Toons, whatever.
Yeah.
The Monstars in the first movie actually called him a chicken, and he was like, you know what, we're go get my basketball shoes and my shorts out of my house, we're gonna play this game. So like the arrogance of Jordan was the reason why the movie happened,
Right.
where the other side, it was like neglect from being a parent. I
Wow.
guess is the reason why this
That's
other
right.
movie happened.
Or only
When you think about
concentrating
it,
on
right?
basketball. Right. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Like I wouldn't say neglect. Neglect is a terrible word, but I think that the two reasons why they played is it should have been more of, without involving the family, it should have been more of like, yo, I'm going to prove myself or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think when he added the family thing, it just made it weird.
It made it
Like
real weird, you know.
the algorithm when he's talking to his son, I'm like, is he going to kidnap his son? Like,
Algae rhythm.
yeah, like it looked weird. Like he's gonna take him into a van or somewhere. Like, what do you? It was awkward. There's a lot of scenes in there. I was like, I would never approve these scenes in the context of this is my kids involved with this project. I
Yeah.
know it's like his fake kids, they're not his actual kids, but like
Right.
that
Which
the
is
way
why he
they're
used fake kids.
yeah, but I'm just saying like the context of why he was doing all of this stuff, the
Mhm.
algorithm with the son, this is weird.
Yeah.
I think it would be better off if the Toons just kidnapped LeBron and be like, hey, Michael's busy. We need you to go win this game or something. I'd have been
Yeah.
like, you know what, cool. But
Yeah.
it should have been like Michael's retired and he can't play basketball anymore because
Right.
he's a thing. Who's the next best person we can get? Come
Yeah.
down here and save Looney Tunes.
Mhm.
But like that family dynamic thing, it was a lot of scenes that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's just real. I don't know. Like Hollywood's weird, right?
I
I'll put it
did,
like that.
I did watch it. I sat down and watched the whole thing from start to end, didn't get up, the whole nine, whatever.
Yeah, I watched it straight.
I will say this, like in the first Space Jam, Michael, he's just butter, just how things just come off of his tongue, he's just butter with it, it's just like he wasn't sort of robotic, anything like that. And you have to compare the two, right? In the sports world, the commentators, the analysts, man, they are going in on this movie like it sucked, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Like on Undisputed, they had a huge sort of debate about it, and
Oh, I didn't see that. I heard about it, but I didn't watch
it came on this morning. You got to check it out, man.
Okay.
But
yeah,
it is so weird. But yeah, I don't sort of know how that happened. He was the producer. Sometimes you have to sit back and watch everything sort of like come about, opposed to like being a star. He didn't need to be the star. I understand that he may have been or is not now because, the Greek Freak is the best player in the NBA, but he is the face of the NBA.
Yeah. Well, the NBA
he still
wants
should have
him to be
stayed
the
back.
face.
Right. He still should have But the NBA, if the NBA wants him to be the face of the NBA, that's like ridiculous. LeBron is like 100 years old. I mean, like, forget about it, right? Again, not to take anything about it away from him. The guy is a pillar in the African American community. He is a Hall of Famer. He is one of the greatest basketball players ever to play the game, but he is definitely not a GOAT. So we're not even going to talk about the GOAT stuff anymore.
He's not an actor either, but like,
no.
let me ask you something.
What's up?
Visually, what did you think of the movie? Because like I put the two of them together, right? The first Space Jam does not hold up in any capacity. Visually, it is terrible. It is really bad.
No.
Visually, the second Space Jam was like an explosion of holograms and special effects and colors. It was just like a bucket of colors thrown on the screen.
Yeah.
Visually, what did you think of the movie and the graphics and everything?
It was on point, dude. The graphics, like the graphics, the whole nine, 100%, a 10.
Oh, it looked clean.
There's
a lot of colors though.
Yeah, but you know what? When I was looking at the film, right, and I was like, man, this is. I mean, I know I have a 4K television, right, but it came in like extra sharp and extra clean.
It looked buttery. It looked good.
Yeah, didn't it? And I was like, okay, this is like. I mean, I don't know if they shot this in 8K and bumped it down to 4K or something, if it was raw or whatever, but. The graphics, the CGI, the sets, like that's a 10. I mean, the first Space Jam, obviously that was in a different time, but that was just on point. The whole sort of algorithms when they were inside the serververse, that was dope. You can't deny that. I guess that was the thing that kept me interested in the movie was that the graphics were like the visuals were so on point, the
visuals were compelling. They made you want to keep watching.
Exactly. Because the movie sucked, but the visuals made me stay in it,
Yeah. Like the acting and everything was wooden and the plot was terrible. But
it was
the
mess.
colors and they just threw a bucket of colors on the screen and it looked stunning. I can't even deny it. It looks stunning.
That was a 10.
If you're a little kid, you would be glued to that screen.
You would be
to
glued.
keep watching.
It
Yeah,
was a 10.
absolutely.
They see that's the thing. Like Warner Brothers, they know how to do all that. I mean, they brought all of the WB characters back. That was pretty dope. You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, the graphics were sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that alone will. It was almost like an immersive experience too. You know, it was just like wow,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of got sucked in, and I think they may have done that deliberately because they were like, well, you know what, the acting part of this here isn't that great. Um,
Yes, yes.
you know, I wanted to see more of Sarah Silverman. I'm a Sarah Silverman fan, and obviously,
Yeah, she's
uh,
funny.
old girl from the Star Trek Discovery, Sonequa Martin Green. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, I was just a little disturbed that there wasn't more women in the movie, like
Mm-hmm.
who actually were themselves and speaking. You know, not like just transformed into a serpent or like a spider or something like that.
I know. Yeah,
That was sort
that
of disappointing. I don't know what that was all about. You know,
making the Monstars the way they did, or the Goon Squad now it's called,
yeah, the
the way
Goon
they did
Squad.
it didn't. It wasn't appealing that like, oh, I need to see this. I want to see this.
Yeah,
It was just ugly monsters or whatever. Like I don't know.
yeah.
I, I think that probably visually they could have done something better to at least the character creations for what they were, because
Mhm.
it was I got what they were trying to go with, but it was just not, it was not appealing at all.
It was some funny parts in it too, you know, and like Granny was like in a locker room drinking martinis.
Yeah, like,
You know, she was
there's a
just like,
here's the thing though,
you
there was a
know,
couple funny parts in the movie,
yeah.
but I wouldn't say the overall movie's funny.
Now,
It is
I,
more so, yeah, it was just more so that
yeah.
it's in a unique situation and kind of thing.
Mhm.
But like overall, I barely laughed for the movie. I was just more watching it, like, oh, okay, this is what's happening.
You
All right,
know,
cool.
I was thinking, you know, if you even like if I brought my family there with my son and we were when he was younger and we were watching it. The thing about movies for kids is it's got to be funny. There's got to be like laugh out loud moments. A lot of
Mhm.
them, right? And it just
Yeah,
wasn't a lot of LOL moments in this movie. Um, Again, I know they probably spent a lot of money. I know that LeBron is probably making. Not, I'm not trying to count people's coins here, but I know he's making like a bag of this. You know, from this movie. Forget it. You know,
yeah. It's not gonna be in China though. That's the huge problem.
I think he's
So
going to be okay with that. He's probably not
oh,
that far away from being a billionaire. So this is just
yeah, but I'm
something.
saying
This
like
is
as
like
far as
add on to what
box
he's
office
doing.
for this movie, like as
Yeah.
far as box office for a movie, it's they needed China. They really needed China to be on board. They're not gonna. I don't think it's gonna play out there.
You would think they would because, you know, China is totally into basketball. It's a basketball like loving country. A lot of NBA players go out there and do their summer
Yeah.
thing, you know, but
Well,
I'm not quite sure why.
they have a limit of American movies that they bring over there,
Wow.
and I guess they just
Space
picked
Jam
like
didn't make the list.
it didn't make the cut. Fast
You
and
know,
Furious did though.
what do you think about
Figure it out.
Don Cheadle? You know, his role as Algae Rhythm. What do you think about that?
I did not like Don Cheadle's character at
He got a
all.
bag. You know, he was just like,
He, I know he
LeBron
took that.
James, what, like $100 million or whatever it was? Sure, you know?
Yeah, he got his Avengers check, and now he's just laughing to the bank now for these kind of things. But
Mhm.
I did not like his character. His character, it like just being like, oh, he turned me down, so I'm gonna kidnap your family. That's terrible motivation.
Yeah.
That's really bad motivation.
Not to
That
mention, if you are an AI,
mm,
you are so much smarter than still in humans. You know, you can just hack into the little boys, Dom James like game yourself because you're a super AI. You control like the serververse, you know?
the whole
So
that's what
that
I'm
was
saying.
kind
Like
of
I think
weird.
that they had, okay, LeBron James, Looney Tunes. How can we get these two people together? We'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
They figured those parts out late because him, the way they made Don Cheadle's character as the
Mhm.
algae rhythm,
Yeah.
which is a stupid name on top of that, but like
Right.
the way they made his character and his motivations was creepy as hell.
Mm.
It seems like that's something you would want to get rid of before you want something like that festering in your company. Kind of want to stomp that out. Give the
There,
impression their
mhm,
Warner Brothers are run by psychopaths or whatever,
right.
but is a terrible reason to I between the two movies. They had the first movie of there's a theme park
Hmm.
in outer space,
Hmm.
and the whatever the head monster guy, the what's his name, Danny DeVito's character, is
Okay.
like, hey, we need some attractions up here.
Right.
Let's go steal the Looney Tunes. And Looney Tunes are like, hey, we can beat these guys easy because they're all 3 feet tall. We'll just play basketball with them.
Right.
And they're like, oh, and they turn huge monsters. Okay, we'll just get LeBron James. We'll get Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
and he'll beat them because he's the greatest basketball player. We'll win like that. Motivation was kind of basic at best, but okay, you could go along with it. The motivation from a crazy AI who kidnaps his family and does creepy things with his son, like, no,
You know,
this is a terrible thing. This is a terrible motivation.
I think
I
the
would
other
prefer.
thing is, what's up? Say it again.
No, I'm just saying, like, it should have been some other reason why LeBron got into the game. Like that, the algorithm thing was just bad. It was bad execution. Put it like that.
And the other thing is, if if you had a choice to, anyone, I would think, send your
Mm-hmm.
son to basketball camp for a week, or send him to, you know, game design camp for a
Mm-hmm.
week or two. Which one would you choose? I think I would choose like the techie side of it. Like, well, basketball, we could do that anytime, dude. You need something to fall back on, and it's got to be in a STEM sort of thing. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
about that, but I
That's
think there were.
that
I
is
think
terrible motivation.
right. I think there were a lot of cultural like acceptances that were added to
Mm-hmm.
this movie. Like, for instance, calling the algorithm algorithm, and also we
Yeah,
cannot discount the fact that Porky Pig like just
mhm.
dropped bars. He was just rapping. I'm just like, okay, what do you think about Porky Pig's verse?
That was bad. It was really bad.
It was a
It
kid
was,
verse though, right?
it was Joe Jackson bad, not Michael Jackson bad. All right, it was
Right. Uh-huh.
terrible. It was terrible. I couldn't believe they put that in the movie in 2021. That's the
It's
thing. Like,
acceptable though. I mean, I don't know about a pig spitting bars, but again, that's the culture right now. Like, cool
like
names.
1996, if there was
Mhm.
raps, I'm like, okay, cool. 2021 bars, no.
Yeah, because they did drop the flavor in your ear beat, which is a dope beat. Like, why not drop a new school beat or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think they probably tried, and the new people were like, nah, we're good. No, thank you.
What about how the movie ended, where Dom James went over to the Looney Squad side or the Toon Squad side, and
Mhm.
then I mean, remember at halftime it was like what 1,040 to like 30. Like, what
Yeah,
a deficit,
get the
right?
style points and stuff. Like,
Right.
okay,
How the game ended and how they all like got together and you know just were able to get out of this whole universe. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that in any other situation, LeBron would have picked up on, oh, wait, we need style points too, a
Mm,
lot sooner than halftime. That's the kind of thing that you're like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, they're playing my son's game. Oh, wait, there's style points. This is a callback to when I was sitting on the bed and he's telling me
mm,
there's style points in this game. I think he would have figured that out a little bit sooner,
yeah.
and they would have adjusted sooner. He's like, they made him out to be a moron. Like he's
The
not.
acting is so
Oh
bad,
my goodness!
dude. It's
Like
so bad.
I, I think that you're right. Like they did the some kind of stuff to make it more hip
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
make
Definitely.
it more acceptable to black people.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's
Because
more
it
of
was
a
produced by, LeBron James company, and again, like I said,
mm,
regardless of what you may think about LeBron James, GOAT or not, the guy is a pillar of the African American community, even a lot of other communities as well. But he is by far one of these people who transcends, a whole bunch of other things. He's a superstar, he's a rock
Yeah.
star just in society, in the world. So not even talking about basketball. He already did, he became this way because of basketball. So you can't take anything away from him in terms of that. But this
No.
movie, okay, listen, we've gone long enough with this
Yeah.
joint, right?
I hoped it would have been better. I'll put it like that. I'm like, if you're gonna put your name on this thing that's attached to this other guy who's always forever, your shadow is he's crushing you with this shadow. I would have put out a better product, or I've been like, hey, let's stop this right now. It's not turning out how I want it to turn out. Let's nip this in the bud real quick. Because like these two things are always going to be compared to each other. And I think that the other one was polished and was just a little bit better,
Yeah.
the overall package. Even if it didn't have the cool special effects
Mhm.
and all this other stuff going for it, like just on a story wise and just execution, this one was just funnier and it was more entertaining.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that is kind of covered up with the colors and the graphics and the 3D animation and stuff
Mhm.
to kind of gloss over the fact that this is a terrible story
It's a terrible
and
story.
it's terrible, sending really bad messages that LeBron is not paying attention to his kids.
Mhm.
You're like, why would you think all your kids need to play basketball? Like that doesn't make sense.
Wow.
I get that you like basketball, but like, why would you expect all your kids to play basketball? I
Yeah.
think you would have picked them that already. Like, oh wait, this son is good in basketball. This one sucks. All right, we're gonna find something else for him to do because
Right.
that's gonna happen.
You never know. This guy, like his son, who was a total tech geek, I mean, the guy created a game. He created you know what I'm saying? It's just like you can't realize that. Okay, what are you rating it?
5 out of 10. I
Okay.
listen visually. I gave it 5 points, but story
Visually,
wise, yeah, visually it's incredible.
just 5 points. So you gave it like five out of, I mean, like a 1 out of 10. You gave the CGI, the
I give
special
this
effects.
the story a 0,
Okay.
but I'm saying this
Oh,
thing saved it
okay.
visually. It was spectacular visually. I
Okay.
couldn't take my eyes off the screen
The
because it
story
was so
is a
amazing.
0. That is a
The
first here on the
story,
Behind the Groove podcast.
the story, and the acting was a hot 0. All right.
Yeah.
For style points, I give it a 5, and
Right.
that's it. 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Terrible.
Okay. So so the movie itself was, I mean, just the acting in it was like the lead character, LeBron James, he was just terrible. Forget about it. He was just terrible.
Mhm.
And there was just a lot of goofiness going on with how things happened, why things happened, right?
Yes.
Visually, CGI, off the chain. Obviously, WB is going to get that all day, right? I was a little disappointed that there were not a lot more women in the movie. Like I said, there were only two women as themselves, in the movie, really, Sarah Silverman and Sonequa Martin Green, and I like both of them, and I would have loved to have seen both of them more, but it wasn't. I am going to give Space Jam: The New Legacy a 3.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm giving it a 3 is because the movie did no justice for Sarah Silverman and Sonequa Martin Green. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's just like, dude, like, okay, you have these rock stars in a movie, and Hollywood rock stars anyway, right? Why not give them more parts? Sarah Silverman is like super funny, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she could have helped you like with acting, how to get through things. The acting was just bad on LeBron James' part. It was just a great movie for a family in terms of just like, people who review movies like us.
Mhm.
It was, I gave it a 3, dude. I'm like, I'm definitely not going to watch that
They
again.
followed the tempo and the kind of the organization of the first movie a lot. So, the initial story of the kid playing basketball in the yard or whatever, and then getting down to the whatever is going to be the reason for the story, then the actual game, everything lines up with the first movie. It's like
Right.
almost overlapped
Hmm.
with, the beats of the story. And I think that they spent too much time trying to improve upon the first movie without just making a good second movie, because there's no reason for this movie to be made.
There's
So
no
if it,
reason for this movie to be seen, like released.
I'm just
And
saying,
it
like,
was, and not to mention, we didn't even talk about this, how long it was. I mean, this movie could have been like a 45-minute, an hour movie. It could have,
it could have been an after school special, but like,
right on, exactly, just like that. Oh, you know what? That is so on point. It is an after school special. How many times
dude,
have you come home, like when you were young from
yeah,
school, and you watched an after school special?
this is what it was. Hey,
Yes.
listen to your dad, and hey, to look out for
Right.
your son. He's got different things than he likes
Yes.
than what
Yes.
you did.
Exactly.
That's what it was. It's like,
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
different,
dude.
Dad. This is this after school
Come
special. I'm
on.
different. I'm not athletic like you are. I
Yeah.
like math. Like,
This
okay, cool.
I would imagine this movie is going to do well, in terms of like box office, like revenue, even though it's not in China. It's going to
It's
do
doing
well.
okay.
Yeah.
But like, we got the pandemic, so like a lot of theaters aren't open, and
And it's on
people have the
HBO
option.
Max too.
They have the option of watching at home for
Right.
their $9 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So like, it's just that's not helping.
Yeah.
If it was only in theater, like
For,
Fast and the Furious was, I think that it would
uh-huh.
have been different.
Really?
But the fact that you could just watch it at home, because I'm
Hmm.
saying is that you're losing out on a ton of money from people who could just stay at home and watch it,
Right.
whereas they had to go to the theater to watch Fast and the Furious, and there's nothing you could do about that. Even A Quiet Place, like for the most part, you had to watch it in the theater, and I think almost you can watch it at home soon or whatever. It's going to be something like that. And like Black Widow, like they gave it the chance to watch it, but you have to pay like $30 to watch it.
Yeah. I'm like,
This one's
listen,
free. If
there
you have
is,
HBO,
that's what I'm talking about, Keo, right? You release a movie. I mean, and we're not even talking about Space Jam. You release Black Widow, and you say, "Hey, people who own Disney Plus, who are subscribers,
Mhm.
you can watch this for $30." You see,
Mhm.
I will, because of that. That is a movie I may not ever watch because it was such a money grab in the most ridiculous way.
You're not missing anything. You don't need to see it. You're good.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, peace.
All right.